Look at how little health I get back from a double slam with the Thunderhammer. This is one of the reasons Assault feels so bad to play. Melee should give back way more contested health than this, especially with a Thunderhammer. Now, we have talked about this before, but this clip is pretty horrifying when it comes to, getting your contested health back, especially with the Thunderhammer. Now, we all know getting your contested health back with melee is kind of a struggle, and I think with the added siege mode, it's way more, it's way tougher to get your contested health back with melee, considering how many more enemies are able to give you chip damage, especially when you're swinging your weapon. So the Thunderhammer, since it's very slow, you have more opportunities to take chip damage, so good for you. Good for you for using the Thunderhammer. You are going to take a lot of punishment for it. And yeah, let's just show off this clip to really put it in perspective how terrible it is to get your contested health back with the Thunderhammer. Now, I am pretty sure this is bugged, so if that's the case, this needs to be fixed regardless. Getting your contested health back with the hammer should not be this terrible. But okay, yeah, let's jump into the clip and be horrified. All right, so we have somebody using the Thunderhammer here, and it looks like they're using a blocking variant, so that's nice. Good, perfect dodge right there. And boom, double smash, and their entire health bar is gone, and they are down. That's crazy. Why didn't that stun? Shouldn't that have stunned? Oh, because they were doing the melee attacks and probably had hyper armor for the bone swords. Oh gosh, that is disgusting. Dude, that has to be bug, right? That has to be the bug, because he didn't get any back, really. I think, no, wait, he might have gotten some back. Let's see if he got any contested health back. Yeah, wow, okay, so that was with one slam. Let's just show you guys real quick how much little contested health he got from that. Like right here, if you see my mouse, like right here. And see, that is terrible. That's such a joke. That's so bad, dude. I couldn't imagine pulling off the smash right there and feeling good about it in siege mode. I mean, honestly, there's just too many opportunities for other enemies to just completely pelt you with damage in siege mode, not to mention grabs and that sort of stuff. Dude, if you're doing a full slam like that and you're actually stuck in place, yeah, no, you need a little bit more reward for that risk. And the damage didn't even seem to do much. I mean, this is absolute, so that's okay. And in hard siege mode, it would look similar to that. That's still terrible. That's genuinely terrible. Like, dude, I don't think the only quality of the Thunderhammer should be that it's just a good slamming weapon just for slams. Like, I think the weapon should actually be able to be used when it comes to actually swinging the weapon. Especially in this situation, it's pretty cool to see that nobody budged. I will admit that's pretty cool. But if he was able to get his contested health back, this would have looked very, very good. And honestly, it's not like this is super OP. If he was able to get his contested health back, he's still in a position where he has to play out of this. It's not like, oh geez, oh wow, now I have my full health bar back and the enemy's gone. It's neither. The enemy's not gone because there's not enough damage on this thing. And then you're not getting your contested health back because they just don't like this weapon, I guess? I don't know. This is terrible. This needs to be fixed. Like, this is probably a bug, but 100%, this is definitely something that is pretty unacceptable for the state of the game at the moment, considering that we have the hardest difficulties in the game now. Dude, this is what really annoys me, and I've been talking about this quite a bit, here and there, but yeah, this is what really annoys me about adding in like something like hard siege mode or absolute 2.0, and then still treating classes like they're overpowered when they're absolutely not. If anything, they are pretty well balanced, I agree, but there are way more examples to show off the weakness of using like something like the Thunderhammer, and then just showing off examples of like, going in for a regular shot with the bolt pistol or something. You can definitely get more contested health back. And if you consider both those weapons can be used in close range, there's truly no reason why you can't get a much better handful of contested health when it comes to the Thunderhammer. That's crazy. Like, they would have been able to get contested health back with the bolt pistol here fine, you know what I mean? But still, it doesn't make any sense why the Thunderhammer couldn't just at least put him into a position to where he was actually getting some sort of benefit from that slam, because it doesn't look like it did a lot of damage, and it doesn't look like it got a lot of contested health back. definitely makes me wonder what the use of the Thunderhammer is when you're not in the air and slamming down. This is definitely something I wanted to touch on because I love this weapon. This weapon's very fun to use. But in a Warhammer game, you would think the hammer would be in a better state. But yeah, if this is a bug, this bug needs to be fixed. Overall, I would say buff the Thunderhammer. The Thunderhammer is cool. The Thunderhammer definitely has some good moments, but it feels very slow. And like moments like this, honestly, if they just fix this, maybe that'll fix the Thunderhammer. Maybe just fixing this contested health bug is the key to fixing the Thunderhammer. Maybe it doesn't need a damage buff. That's fine. I mean, they didn't have blocking stacks here or anything. So yeah, they definitely can get more damage out of here. That's a fair point to make. But overall, we have to admit this is an ugly, ugly clip, and something needs to change here. Wow, this is just BS. Apparently the next update is going to be a balance patch. Hopefully they will address this type of stuff. Yeah, so that's a very fair point to make, because when it comes to the balance patch, I've already kind of talked about this, but the devs kept sneak dissing. They kept sneak dissing. They kept mentioning the overpowered perks of Bulwark in the, Invigorating Icon and Intimidating Aura. And I, to be completely honest, feel like those perks are perfectly fine in the state of the game, especially if you consider hard siege mode. So I really hope the devs start to reconsider the way they view some of these things, because to be perfectly honest, if healing was actually more accessible for more classes, Invigorating Icon wouldn't even be a necessary part of the meta. The reason it's the necessary part of the meta is simply because of how other classes have not the best healing. So ultimately, this is a problem that is pretty easily solved, but I just really hope the devs have a good, outlook on what they want the balance of the game to be. Now, for most of the game, balance is very fine. When it comes to hard siege mode, you definitely need to run very strong perks. And yeah, here and there, I'll see people jump into siege mode with not the best perks and stuff, which is fine. Ultimately, I don't mind jumping into normal siege mode and seeing something a little bit different. But when it comes to the meta, it's the meta for a reason, and most of the times the reason is because healing is scarce. So yeah, when it comes to balancing the game, I really hope the devs start to consider the overall balance, especially considering hard siege mode and stuff, to be put into a position where everyone can kind of have options, more options than we have now, which would be nice, and no nerfs. Like that, I cannot be, if they want to rework something, that's fine, but it should effectively still be strong. Like if I was to, for whatever reason, change Invigorating Icon, I would probably just make sure it still heals, but maybe it's healing over time or something. I don't know. I would make the argument right now that Invigorating Icon, considering the cooldown nerf that it has, I would make the argument that it's pretty balanced. It's strong, but you still have to play around teammates to drop the banner and everything. And ultimately, when it comes to playing with randoms, sometimes it's not the easiest to play around a random banner. And I guess maybe Invigorating Icon with Inner Fire, it's probably still strong, but like everyone could make the argument that Unmatched Zeal is probably still stronger than both of those. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. And they never mentioned anything about Vanguard. So, I really hope that they don't consider nerfing anything when it comes to the next balance patch. But yeah, we can definitely talk about that when we get closer to the patch and when the devs start talking about what they have planned for it. The entire contested health system really needs to be reevaluated. The whole point of putting it in a game is to reward more aggressive play, to encourage players to get out of their defensive shell and play faster. In Space Marine 2, the way it's implemented, the speed it depletes, and how difficult it is to get health back, it is completely at odds with the point, because no matter how aggressive you play, most of the times you're punished for trying. I mean, yeah, when it comes to melee builds, I agree. Just let us use the dang system properly. How fast it depletes with the Bulwark team perk that makes it last 50% longer should be the standard. Okay, that's a hot take. And melee really should be giving more contested health back than it is now. I agree with that 100%. I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know. If you were to replace advanced conditioning, it'd be kind of interesting if it was replaced with like a stim perk. But I don't know if we're getting apothecary, so yeah. Regardless, we all know why why healing is very strong in this game. yeah, the way contested health is working right now is fine for ranged builds, but if you're I just think if you're using, melee attacks, you should still be able to get your contested health back. Now, as regards for the Thunderhammer clip we just saw, that could be a bug. That's probably the contested health, bug for the hammer, but irregardless, definitely needs to be fixed. I don't even know if irregardless is a word, but yeah, contested health for melee should be buffed because in Siege mode, the difficulty's way higher than what we see in Absolute 2.0. So I think if you're balancing melee weapons around Absolute, they're just going to start to fall behind in Siege mode. So yeah, they definitely need to, basically, they need to buff melee weapons. It genuinely baffles me when game devs die on hills like this, and I'm getting pretty exhausted with it happening so regularly in the industry, especially in fun co-op games like this, where they sometimes randomly decide things just have to be awkward and annoying to nobody's benefit. With what they've done so far, I think they can definitely fix it. It's just one of those things that we keep repeating is just, yeah, the assault class itself is kind of in a weird spot. And it's like, how many times do we have to talk about the same issue? It does get a little bit exhausting. I agree. But this is like specifically the Thunderhammer. And yeah, overall, if you can't get your contested health back with the weapon at all, obviously that needs to be fixed. But I don't see how you could, as far as the devs are concerned, I'm not too sure how you can look at the Thunderhammer in its bug state and then try to think of a way to balance it that doesn't revolve buffing the contested health it gets. You know what I mean? So yeah, ultimately the devs are going to have to switch up how they view certain things in this game. But yeah, we will see. It's especially baffling in Space Marine 2's case, considering how heavily the game is designed around melee. Oh yeah, that's a fair point. Yet is balanced like the studio despises people using melee. The Power Sword's in a really good spot right now. I think they've done good. We've had significant progress with making melee strong. It's just the hammer now, I think, is definitely either losing a lot of its momentum because of the bug, or maybe it's just not doing a lot of damage. But yeah, that contested health is insanely disappointing, very frustrating to watch. And I think overall, yeah, it definitely needs to be fixed. And I would like to see what the devs have in store for the balancing overall, like what they decide to do with the next patch. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, I want to play more Siege mode. And I definitely want to see more hammer. I want to use the hammer as well, but I don't want to play. I don't want to play the hammer if I can't get contested health back with it. That's pretty wild. And I guess using, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal just pull out your pistol and get some contested health that way. But I mean, we all know you would get hyper armor using the hammer. You don't get hyper armor just pulling out your pistol. So I mean, unless you're doing a gun strike. So yeah, you're still kind of losing out on certain benefits that the hammer would get when it comes to getting contested health back. But yeah, ultimately, I think the devs are going to be able to fix most of this stuff. I'm just a little disappointed in the way they kind of been mentioning overpowered perks here and there when we still have bugs in the game that are significantly impacting weapons like the Thunderhammer and are practically leaving it in a state that does not allow it to be viable in Siege mode. So yeah, we will see. But yeah, overall, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. And thanks for watching.